Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you from the home studio today on this, the 23rd day of July in the year 2023. Sure hope you're enjoying your Tuesday, no matter where you are in the country. Here in the Northeast, in beautiful downtown Kearney, it's 81 degrees, a little overcast today. But so far, the rain has held off. But hope you're enjoying the day, no matter where you are. And as you do each and every Tuesday, you welcome me into your home so that I can bring you this week's broadcast and news. But before we get to the newspaper today, I want to talk to you a little bit about National Night Out, which is coming up on August 6th in the town of Kearney, although uh, some people not everybody realizes it, but National Night Out by design is called National Night Out because it's the same day everywhere, not just in Kearney. So there'll be celebrations throughout our readership area. But in the town of Kearney, Sergeant Adriano Marks and the community policing unit have put together a tremendous program this year, as they do each and every year. Ryan Brady will be there, Jack Grimm probably, and of course, Vanessa Savillano. I'm not sure if Vanessa is back, but hopefully she'll be there. And then the host of other people as well from the Kearney Police Department will be there as well. And from what I understand, this year there are presentations that will be done, of course, by the Kearney Police Department. The Kearney Fire Department will be there as well. They usually bring out the hose and let the kids learn to use a fire hose. The FBI will be there. The aviation unit from the New Jersey State Police, which of course is the helicopter that you often see at junior police academies and, of course, fighting crime throughout the state of New Jersey, will be deployed over on the Veterans Field area. The Hudson County Prosecutor's Office is involved with the day, and there will be bounce houses and a DJ and all sorts of things for the kids to do. So please be Kearney Prevention Coalition. Yes, Sean, good point on that one. They will be there as well. All sorts of tools that are used in the war on crime. And Lisa is involved with resurrecting the neighborhood watch, and I believe she met yesterday with the Kearney Police Department Police Committee and members of the Town Council. And very soon you'll be hearing all about the resurrection of the Neighborhood Watch program to the town of Kearney. We had one in the 70s, but it has been dormant for a long time. And given the recent spate of crime and the break-ins and the ramming police cars and things of that nature, she got fed up with it, and she contacted the chief and the mayor and Councilman Jerry Facito, and the plans are well underway to bring back the neighborhood watch. But we'll be more about that later on, as it's in the planning process right now. But for National Night Out, a beautiful day it is, and that takes place on the 6th of August from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Belgrove Drive between Afton Street and Bergen Avenue. So hopefully, if you don't have anything to do that day, get down there, even if it's for a little while. There'll be food as well, so you don't have to worry about dinner and things of that nature. And a great day, absolutely a great day each and every year. Adriano Marks, the sergeant who runs the CPU, continues to impress the things that he does. While this is all going on, the Junior Police Academy is starting soon. So the community oriented policing unit in the town of Kearney is just among the best in the state of New Jersey, if not the best in the world. They do such a great job. Adriano has always run a great unit, where he and Jack Grimm used to run it together. I don't think Jack is involved anymore, but I'll find out for sure and let you know. But over the years, they have done stellar work, and what they do with the Junior Police Academy is amazing. You see these kids who start off, I don't want to be here. By the end of the week, they want to come back for another week. So that'll give you an idea of just how hard they all work. Now, before we get into the news, I see a bunch of people in the chat room. Not everybody is chatting, but those who are, Mama Hearn is here. Mama June, good to see you. Marcelo Haranga is here from Harrison. Sean McDonald, one of my oldest and dearest friends in the world. Carol Manley is here as well. Carol is, of course, June's beautiful daughter, who was born on the greatest date in the calendar year, September 21st. I only know that because we share a birthday. She is indeed my birthday sister. So good to see everybody here. Now, before we get into the news, I just wanted to bring this up one more time. Did you see this yesterday, this fire on Route 3 in Clifton? My goodness, what an awful, awful blaze this was. And from what I understand, they say that this didn't, Route 3 was closed eastbound as of 5 o'clock this morning. The plan was to open it up at 5 o'clock. I haven't heard anything to the contrary to say that it didn't reopen, but what an inferno this was. A truck hit the retainer wall, and unfortunately, the driver of the truck was killed. As you can see, you see that type of explosion. There is no way that anybody was going to survive that. The retainer wall collapsed. The siding of the homes nearby were in a terrible, terrible situation. It was melting off of the sides of the houses, but the driver of that truck, who I believe was from Linden, lost his life in that tragedy. Sean tells us it's open up again, which is in and of itself a miracle that those temperatures didn't melt away the roadway, or there wasn't any significant damage to the roadway. But as Steph Schultz is saying, a traffic nightmare yesterday. I can't even imagine, Steph, how bad that had to be yesterday. If you were caught in it, I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. My sincerest apologies. And Marcelo has moved to Kearney. We have something in common again, Marcelo. I just moved back to Kearney a month and a week ago, so I'm glad to hear that. I'm sorry I didn't realize that, and I should have known better that you moved back to the town of Kearney. Welcome to the town of Kearney. We love Kearney people, obviously, because we are Kearney people. So that terrible fire yesterday out of the way, not to belittle it at all, just a tragedy that a life was lost in that terrible fire. So we also welcome in Barbara Condon, who is here with us. And my goodness, Rue Edwards Conklin, who I have not seen face to face probably since 1993 or 1994. Rue used to work with my mother at Square Parking in Jersey City a long, long time ago. And whenever I would visit in the office, Rue was there. I love her. She's, that place closed down in 1997, but Rue has kept in touch with my mother, and it's great to see her on the air. And Tony Marinaro is also with us here. Good to see you, brother. The Mets have given us hope. They won again yesterday. They are only 3 games out of the top wild card spot, which, if you think about it, is obscene. Because if they find a way to get that top wild card spot, that means they have at least 3 home games, if not more, in that opening round. Who would have ever thought there would be a playoff game potentially played at Citi Field in this season? Let's just hope they keep it up, and hopefully the Yankees will get their act together at some point in time, because they certainly haven't over the last, 32 games or so. So the front page, Tony, good to see you, brother. Always a pleasure. On the front page this week, prayers answered. Just a little play on the fact that the church on Oakwood Avenue that I mislabeled earlier, the Oakwood Baptist Church, I don't know how the hell I got that in my head. It was a former Lutheran church, has been purchased by the town of Kearney. They paid a significant sum of money, and it will become a community recreation center. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about the name of the place first, because the community center will not necessarily be a recreation center per se. Stephanie Comp joining us as well. Congratulations to Stephanie and the girls of the KGC cheerleading team. They were honored at the council meeting on Tuesday of last week. Congratulations to all of the girls. They went up to Hawaii, I believe, and did great stuff. And Steph, I know it's taken a while, but our Jason Bernstein, our sports reporter, will be contacting somebody soon to do finally do a recap. I'm sorry it's taken as long as it has, but sometimes we have to wait till we get into the summer. When things slow down a little bit, it'll be perfect that the girls get the attention that they so deserve. But back to this. You heard me say a community recreation center. There's a reason why the word recreation has to be in the name of the place. It's really going to be a community center, per se, more than it will be a recreation center. But because a lot of the funding for centers like this come from budgets that are or grants that are geared toward recreational activities, that had to be put into the name of this center. But I don't want to give you delusions here, because what you're going to see are meeting spaces, places for things like meetings, places for things like yoga classes and Zumba classes, cooking classes, things of that nature. But not what you're not going to see are soccer courts or basketball hoops or things of that nature. That's just not going to that's not in the cards right now. And I had a chance last week to take a tour of this incredible structure. By the way, it really is. It's very deceptive. Our offices used to be contiguous with that church when the Observer office was on Kearney Avenue, and I got to tell you, it's a deceivingly large space where there are so many rooms available that it's not even funny. There could be a dozen or more things going on at the same time once they begin the renovation process, which will be coming up in the coming months. It's not a rushed project either, and it's going to happen in stages. So you may not see a final product at this community center until maybe 4 or 5 years from now. But what they're going to do is do it in stages, and by doing it in stages, each and every year they're going to be able to apply for more grants to pay for the renovations and the additions and the subtractions and the renewal of the property. So you're going to have to be patient, folks. Let's just put it that way. But when all is said and done, it is going to be incredible when all is finished. It really is. And if you've ever seen that church, I don't have a picture of it on the front page this week, but we did last year. We had an aerial shot of it. It's a gorgeous structure. The gatehouse in the front, and it's going to retain its historical charm. And I'm going to tell you one other thing about Steve Marks, who was working on this project, who was spearheading this project. Steve Marks has worked a bunch in this type of work before. When he was in the city of Hoboken, he spearheaded the expansion of the Hudson Bergen Light Rail project. So he is so well equipped to do a project of this enormity that I am absolutely confident is going to turn out to be a fantastic addition to this town. So lots to look forward to. Plenty of things will be happening over there over the next couple of years. And I'm sure that once all is said and done, it is going to be great. Anything being done at the rec center about parking? Barbara, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this area, there are, I believe, Steve said 22 parking spaces, or approximately. It's an approximate number behind the church and behind the real estate agency that's over there. I believe the agency has 10 of the spots. The rest belong to the town now. And what the idea is that there will be off-street parking for events that take place there. And then the idea will also be that when it's not being used, that perhaps residents will be able to park there. I'm not sure if they're going to do it with a lottery system or how they're actually going to handle that, but that is still in the works. And there is a committee that is planning all of this that the mayor and council have put together with Steve and the architect that will determine how that works. But it is certainly being thought about, and we will see how that all turns out once we get a little bit further on in the project. My friend Deborah Garcia is here. She said, my grandfather was baptized in that church in 1916. Deb, I'm glad you brought that up, because Steve Marks tells me that there are historical Bibles and books and records in the church that nobody is necessarily aware of who to give them to. There are things that the town won't be able to use. But if you say your grandfather was baptized in that church, there may be some historical records or a family Bible or things like that that are still there in the church. So if you would be interested in seeing any of that, please let everybody let Steve Marks know, because I think you would find some pretty cool stuff there when you get a chance if you're interested. We also welcome John Jimkowski, who is visiting us from North Arlington. Good to see you, John. And of course, my dear Uncle Mike Slane is here with us from all the way out in Carlsbad, California. Right now, Uncle, it is 81 degrees. It's a little bit overcast today, but hopefully it'll hold up for the Subway Series game today, that I am pretty confident the Mets are going to win against the New York Yankees later today, 7 o'clock in the Boogie Down Bronx. So we'll see what happens there. Now, this story we had online, this is another one of those bail reform stories. And speaking of which, if you haven't yet seen it, I did an incredible interview with Stephen Rogers, retired lieutenant from Nutley, on bail reform, juvenile justice, and the abhorrent way that the Secret Service handled the shooting with Trump. In case you just did not watch the news or hear the news today, the Secret Service director resigned today. Good riddance. That was an abject failure at the attempted assassination of the former president, but she's moving on. But Steve Rogers and I had a chance to talk about that and juvenile justice and bail reform. So check that out if you get a chance. It's on our Facebook and our YouTube pages. Check those out. But speaking of bail reform, this is another case where it has failed. This guy was arrested for a shoplifting event in Lyndhurst last week. It was the ShopRite. So he gets out and he's starting to walk along New York Avenue up to Ridge Road, and he sees a woman and he grabs her rear end, and he does it to another person in the town of Kearney. Now, let me tell you this. When he did the shoplifting, he was released on his own recognizance, because bail reform, you shoplift, that is like, go ahead, do it, because you're going to get out anyway the same day. And then when he got to Kearney, he grabbed another woman's rear end while he was in the town of Kearney. And then he was finally arrested on the warrants that were issued from the township of Lyndhurst, and then they put him behind bars. My guess is the guy's probably out now, because that's usually the case when there's something like this. But just another example of this cursed bail reform that has been an abject failure in the state of New Jersey and in many other states, as well, in this country. And the chat that Steve Rogers and I had was really blunt, and we really had a chance to touch on some great topics. I hope you'll check it out. The West Hudson Arts and Theater Company is having some outdoor performances of William Shakespeare here in town, and I believe in Hackensack as well. Brandy Lee Miller and the gang are working very hard. Linda DeIsa sent this to us. I hope you'll check it out. And if you are inclined to go, but maybe intimidated by William Shakespeare, as many people are for a myriad of reasons, they also do an explanation of the subtleties of Shakespeare before the performances. I think that's one of the greatest aspects of what does, the education portion. So if you feel maybe, I don't know, the old English and with the big words that I don't know what they mean, they do prepare you very, very well in advance. So check that out if you are so inclined, or looking for something to do. And they're also having picnic lunches at Arlington Depot Park, so that should be fun. Speaking of junior police academies, the Lyndhurst Police Department completed its 2024 academy. That's a group picture of the entire crew of youngsters who were involved, and then you see them running along with a police escort. Physical training is a big component to the junior police academy. And as I had mentioned earlier, when I was giving you a little bit of a heads up on the one that's coming to Kearney, it's pretty remarkable. These kids go and they're sluggish. They don't want to be anywhere near the academy when they first go. That's not cool. It's early in the morning, and you got to get up early, and then they start yelling and screaming at you, and you got to do what they say. But by the week's end, these kids want to come back for more. And unlike many other towns, Lyndhurst allows the youngsters from between grades 5 to 8 to return if they've taken it in their younger days, and some of them really develop as great leaders. and Sergeant Steve Passamano and Lieutenant Paul Haggerty work so hard on this each and every year, and they really do a great job of finding kids who are going to become leaders, and they nurture it. They nurture it beautifully, and a lot of these kids will eventually go on to be police officers themselves. So check that out when you get a chance on page number 4. The Township of Nutley has established a sewer utility, so those bills for you, and if you live in Nutley, will come separately now from your tax bills. They used to come together, but this separate utility keeps that all separated now, and I'm sure that is something that Mayor Kelly and former Mayor Scarpelli were working very, very hard on. Indeed. Now, there's 3 sports stories this week, including the first female athlete from Nutley to wrestle in this major national tournament. Check those out. That's what Jason has for us, as he does each and every week. And of course, we have 2 pages of classifieds. If you're looking for a home, if you are looking for a job, there are apartments. Get ready to ante up and come up with like $100,000 to find a 1-bedroom, but you'll be able to get one nonetheless, because we have a whole bunch of them this week in this week's edition of The Observer. Now that's it. I want to thank each and every one of you for logging on today and joining me. I'm very, very grateful to all of you for that. I'm sure Lisa is as well. I know she's watching from the office, and I'll show you what she said. She said it early. Stop cursing, Yankees. So I'll tell you what, they better get their butts in gear, because this season is going to be miserable if they don't. And my old friend Barbara Condon, it's so great to have you here. I love when you join us from the Adirondacks. We miss seeing you around town, and hope you're enjoying life in New York. And of course, birthday sister, thank you. Have a great day as well. Let's go Mets. And here's my buddy Bill Scarterfield. There he is. Let's see, let me get him on the air. Billy calls the Mets the Mutts. And that's always been our little fun thing that he's always said. But this is the first time. They're nowhere near the Phillies, Bill. Don't worry, I'm not worried about the Phillies. But at least they're giving us something to hang our hopes on. And when that happens, usually in the end, disappointment. Disappointment. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Billy, good to see you and everybody else. And we will see you back here 1 week from today, unless, of course, there is breaking news until then. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.